Hello everyone and welcome to another Middlegame episode focusing on statics and dynamics with Coach B from MasterChess.com. This is the sixth and last video in this series. And here we're going to analyze a game played in 2002 by Grandmaster Alejandro Ramirez rated 2421 versus Grandmaster Alex Morozevich rated 2707. And just like in all my videos, I'm going to fast forward through the moves and stop at the critical moments of the game. And this is the position that was reached after 11 moves. And here we have a fairly common position with an isolated d-pawn, though white's queen is a little bit odd on b1. In general, this structure immediately tells us that black will have a long-term static plus, which will be playing against the isolated d-pawn and the weakened d5 square, while white will find dynamic compensation in active pieces and chances against the enemy king. A natural positional move for black here would be moving the pawn to c6, giving support to the d5 square and intending to follow up with knight b to d5. Some normal moves that will follow here could be rook to e1, after knight b to d5, knight to e5. This will give black a comfortable game after moving the bishop to e6. However, coming back, after c6, white can play here a very aggressive move, which could be very dangerous for black, which is bishop takes on h6. After g takes h6, queen to g6 check, king to h8, queen takes h6 check, knight to h7, knight to e4, and bishop to e7. Even though in analysis this is viewed like an equal game, thanks to black's static material plus versus white's dynamic attacking chances, this is still very dangerous and black doesn't need to accept that. So coming back to the game, after white played queen to b1, here black responded with the better move, which is bishop to e6. Now black accepts a weakening of his pawn structure for the control over the powerful d5 square and use of the just half-open f-file. This dynamic original decision creates a position that very much suits Morozevich's original active style. Suddenly, white, who a moment ago was the active one, has a static play against the weakness on e6, while black's active dynamic pieces will give him chances of his own. And the game continues with bishop takes e6, f takes e6, rook to e1, and queen to e8. And black's idea here is to be able to jump with the queen on h5 to support a potential kingside attack. Coming back, another possible line that's very solid for black would be a more subtle move, moving the queen to d7. After something like knight to e4, knight takes e4, queen takes e4, rook a to e8 will also give black a decent game. But coming back, queen to e8 was played in the game. And the game continued with knight to e4, knight b to d5, knight to c5, bishop takes c5, d takes c5, knight to d7, and queen to c2. Coming back, a little bit better for white would be here moving the pawn to c6, destroying black's pawn structure. After b takes c6, now queen to e4, and this would give white a static edge. However, coming back in the game, white played queen to c2, and now black responded with c6, giving black's knight on d5 a little bit more support, and with the control of the half-open f-file, which gives him kingside attacking pressure, will more than compensate for the small structural problem on e6. The game continued with bishop to e3. Coming back, a little bit more accurate here would be moving the bishop to d2, but even here white can't claim an advantage, because after queen to h5, knight to d4, queen to h4, hitting f2 and the knight on d4, white will have to respond with pawn to f4, and after knight takes f4, bishop takes f4, rook takes f4, knight takes e6, rook to e8, rook e2, rook to e7, rook a to e1, and knight to f6, black still has a comfortable game. So coming back, white played bishop to e3, and the game continued with another excellent move, rook takes f3. This exchange sacrifice will guarantee black a lasting initiative. The game continued with g takes f3, queen to h5, queen to e4, and now knight to e5. Another very nice move. After this, white responded with queen to g2, defending the pawn on f3, and now knight to f6. White responded with queen to f4, and now knight to g6. Coming back, here black missed a small static edge with moving the knight to d3, and after queen to g3, knight takes e1 check, rook takes e1, and rook to f8, which would give black a small advantage. But he decided to increase the tension and play for kingside pressure. Indeed, he managed to succeed after inaccurate play by white, but he's missed his chances and a draw ended up in the end. And I'm just going to fast forward to the moves to see how the game was drawn in the end. And here both players accepted a draw. Thank you for watching this series. Hopefully after watching these games you are able to see the war that arises for having a static positional advantage or a dynamic attack. The battle of statics versus dynamics is the fight between one side long-term pluses, which could be material advantage, superior pawn structure, or better position, and the other short-term take action now or miss your opportunity attacking chances, which could be there temporarily because of your active pieces, which could pair up for a tactics combination, or the vulnerability of the opponent's king, which in many times has not castled soon enough. Dynamics can beat statics, and statics can beat dynamics. It is up to each player to judge which one is more favorable in each particular case. In some cases, the imbalances of the position will clearly tell you if you need to play dynamically or positionally. In other cases, you'll have the option to choose. The nice thing about being on the static side is that a static weakness will be there for a long period of the game, while a dynamic opportunity is like a spark that needs to catch on fire or it's gone. On the other hand, the dynamics can set up a board on fire, leading up to many static surpluses in the end. As a general rule, you should always stop your opponent's plan first before continuing with your plan. You want to make sure that you take the time to analyze all possibilities so that his plans will not succeed before you implement yours. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon in the next series where we will look at the importance of space in the middle game.